Hello, Serge here for the Backyard Driving Range. All right, we have a letter that came into customer service from my good friend Robert Mead. And it's a little lengthy, but it's got some good points here and a great topic. So I'll go it as follows. This came in your own words, with somebody curing a hosel from conversations that day, and you'll see where it's going here. So, Serge, in the daily you shared the experience and question of Ted in your own words curing hosel rockets. In the comments that followed, there is an observation made by Howard Pilgrim about how he hits great shots when he needs to clear a tree. He often hits the best shots and gets the best results. In my following comment to his, I repeat that I often have the same experience. Please review our thoughts there, and then could you please cover this in a future daily? In part, Howard concluded that holding the knees too long and in the FUS is to blame, and releasing swing up, as you said 1,000 times, is the answer. I may be guilty of this too. Okay, so now my question that is Robert Mead's question is, how can we more frequently repeat this same kind of precision and get similar results when we have no obstruction, no trees in our way, and have a good lie in the middle of the fairway? These shots are ones that come off with beautifully high trajectory and land close to our target. I have pretended to have a tree in my way, and it just doesn't work. Again, it may seem simple, but how can Howard and I, along with those paying attention among the Serge Nation, learn to repeat the swing while being shot focused? It may help for a background if you see our conversations. I went there and looked at them. He put a link to the blog page that day. It has been a long time since I asked the question, but I feel the answer to this question has the potential to unlock some great golf using the PPGS. Thanks for considering this one, Serge. And may I say, you've been on fire lately. I have really benefited beyond your words by your recent lessons. Your friend and loyal Sergeite, Robert Mead. Yeah, I think I've had a few other people tell me that I've seen, and sometimes I know it too myself, because when I'm getting fired up, I think it's obvious. All of a sudden, my rate of speech increases. I start purring like a race car zipping down a quarter mile. And so hopefully I don't get speaking too fast. Maybe we'll have to be able to slow my words down. But good topics sometimes really help me getting on, making good comments. This one we're talking about today is about playing. I mean, there's a lot of people, I've said this over and over again, there's a lot of people who can stand on a range and hit great shots, but they can't take that to the golf course. And so the question becomes, why? And it could be a number of reasons, all right? Some people, you've heard the expression, some guy's a range player and he can't bust an egg on a golf course. I think the number one case we've got to look at there is many people on the range hit balls without a target. They're just firing balls for the sake of trying to hit good solid shots, and no matter what they hit it good and where it goes, it's a good shot. Especially if it feels good, it sounds good, the trajectory, the flight pattern is good, and they're not paying that much attention where it goes. They just made a good swing and hit a good shot. But if you're on a golf course and you make a good swing and hit a good shot, but your intended alignment is not your actual alignment, and therefore in that case you would be hitting a good swing and good contact and good everything to your actual alignment, which is not your intended alignment, it's not going to go at your target, and therefore you might then say, uh-oh, wasn't that very good a shot, because man, I just hit it 50 yards into the woods or 40 yards right of the green or whatever. All right, so yeah, you might say, okay, I hit a good shot, but it wasn't a good shot because it's in trouble. It's out there in the boondocks. So we got to match those two things up when we're playing golf, and we got to stop playing golf. So I think number one, you hear a lot about visualization. Visualization. You hear a lot about staying in the moment, play one shot at a time. So no matter where you're at, the first thing you have to do is you have to take in consideration all the conditions, the lay of the land. Sometimes I might throw grass up 3, 4, 5 times until I've determined exactly what I feel the wind is doing most consistently, that I get a good degree of confidence that it will do in this shot, and it's going to affect the shot I'm going to play. Affect it, at least if I'm just trying to hit it straight. If it's a pretty brisk wind left to right, I'm going to aim it a little bit more left and let the wind blow it towards the target, whether it be we're in the fairway I'm trying to hit it to, or we're on the green I'm trying to hit it to. So if it's the flag I'm trying to end up at, I'd hit it a little left and let the wind blow it. Vice versa, if the wind blowing right to left. If the wind's in my face, I got to make a decision. Do I take more club and hit a knockdown shot and try to hit a knockdown shot, or I just take more club and just hit a normal shot because it isn't that tough into my way in terms of knocking the ball down. So once I make that decision of the shot I want to hit, now is where the critical issue comes. When I stand behind here and I've made my decision on that shot, as you've always heard me say, I don't visualize myself standing there. I can't visualize myself standing there, making a swing and hitting the shot I want. I just visualize the sense how the ball's going to go. All right? I've done a brain scan. That part of the brain that has mental visualization in it is basically turned off on me. It's supposed to be a bright red, or if you have it, mine is kind of like dark black, which means it's not functioning. But I got great sense of feel. So I sense, well, we got some big propeller plane flying right over me. I hope he doesn't drop anything on me. So I'll talk loud, but I just sense what I want the ball flight to be and how it's going to go. In other words, how it's going to launch, the trajectory of it, the flight pattern of it. So that sets in my mind the shot I want to hit. And then when I walk in here, and I usually always sometimes I take practice swings behind the ball, but most of the time, if it involves some shot making where it's going to be more than just my normal, everyday, average peak performance golf swing shot, which is my average peak performance golf swing setup, I will come beside the ball, meaning if there's any type of lie changes or whatever I got to work with, or I got to change the setup for the shot, I'm going to walk in here, and once I take that flight trajectory and I turn it into and flight pattern I want, when I walk in here, I turn it into the fact that it helps me melt into the setup I have to hit the shot I want to hit. And if it involves hitting the ball lower, higher, more draw, or more fade, that's going to create a different setup all the time. Now, I would need an hour to tell you all this, but you can find that on the website, and I'm making a public service announcement here that if you want to learn this stuff, situational shots, this is in situational shots and working the ball. It's all there, step by step, detail by detail, which I can't do now. But if you listen to it all, you understand what I'm talking about. When I walk into it and I melt into the right setup, and from that setup, I make what I feel is the swing that setup produces. If I like the feeling of that swing, and like all swings I make, the key is if I get to the finish I want, I should hit the shot I want. When I feel that swing and I feel that finish that I want, then I walk in, I get the appropriate setup that I need. Naturally, if I'm starting the ball more left or more right, I'm adjusting my aiming line to right or left, and therefore my where I want the ball to start. My club face is square to that point, and then my parallel line for would be, being a right-hander would be left, as a left-hander would be right of your aiming line. And then I walk in and make sure all those lines are correct, and then I swing that feel I just felt in my practice swing. All right? So I think it's staying in the moment. The big key I want to say here is the biggest thing I've seen, I did it myself. Once people learn to work the ball, they get into doing it too much. I mean, it's like some cases they can't ever hit a straight shot anymore. It's always got to be, if the pin's on the left, I got to draw it in. If it's on the right, I got to cut it in if I'm a right-hander. If it's, if I'm in the wind, I got to hit a knockdown. If I'm downwind, I got to hit it super high. They're always working the ball, all right? And yet, when they go to the range, do you practice all of those shots? No, most people just go there and practice their swing to hit their regular shot. And yet they go play the course and they don't hit their regular setup and swing very often because they know how to work the ball now, so everything has to be worked. Keep it simple, right? Stay with what is your bread and butter setup and shot, and only veer when you have to. But if you really want to get better, and you got to work on these things, but you got to make sure that once you make a decision to hit one of these, so to speak, situational shots, you've got to sense that situation. You got to see it in your mind. If you can visualize, you got to walk in and get the right setup and produces the right swing to hit that shot. And you got to just stay focused, concentrated, and committed to the shot. Play each shot one at a time. And then the other things I do a lot of times when I'm playing golf, I get done, I'm going to go back and look over the round. This is one of the things I tell all my players. I said, when you evaluate your rounds, you just don't evaluate how many fairways, how many greens I hit, and was it a good shot or a bad shot. Sometimes when you choose a shot that's unique and different, even if you pulled it off, you need to ask, was that the right shot to play? It's especially a good question to ask if you didn't pull it off, because you got to understand, why didn't I pull it off? Was there something wrong with the setup? Was there something wrong with the swing? Was it just the wrong shot? That I chose the wrong shot for that situation. That's how you keep improving yourself. So hit it good. Yeah, I guess it was the right shot, but then maybe there might have been a better one. So sometimes you got to go over the stuff and see, because just because something came off right, it means it was good at that point, but Let us not forget there might have been other ways to do it. So you got to go back and check this stuff out, but especially check it out if you didn't pull it off. Because many times that's a good hint that either A, you did something wrong, or B, it wasn't the right shot. So even from the fairway, hitting your normal shot, you can never stop getting into that focus mode, sensing what you want to do, seeing what you want to do, feel it in the practice swing, step up and swing the feel of that good practice swing. Because you should never step up and hit a golf ball if you didn't make a good practice swing and lock in a good feel. All right? Because good feeling practice swings are what produce feeling good swings. Okay? One last thing I want to say. You should never hit a golf shot on the golf course that you haven't at least tried on a practice range, if not on a course also. In other words, hit a shot that you know you're confident that you know how to do it and you can do it, especially if it's in a very important situation like in a tournament. So you don't want to be having your first rodeo ride on a golf swing, on a tough golf shot, first time ever on a course in a tight and important situation. You save that for the practice rounds and especially on the range to learn it first, to take it to the golf course in practice so you know you have it when you're playing for real or any time that you're really playing for a good score. Only play what you know you've done in the past and can do. All right? Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.